Right, now look what I've got here. A little dandelion full clock. Seek and you will find. A couple of leaves I've got here, and I will need to paint this now, I think, because they're very delicate, and this might be the last one of its season, because the season for these is now running out. So I'm just going to remove a little bit of the time to make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah, that's nice. Look, I can see that little section in there. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom this up very close and try and keep my hand still so that the time does not tick away. Right, there we go. Perfect and ideal for the subject which I'm about to do. And here are a few of the minutes which tend to tick away. Right, now, not forgetting the actual little leaves, which you may need when you come to paint yours. I will turn them over. Right, now you've got the front and now you've got the back. I notice that they're a little bit larger at the top and tend to get a little bit smaller as they graduate down. Just having a look at one or two of the others. Yes, this one, look, that also does a similar sort of thing. So they're just little ragged leaves with a central vein running up them. Right, now I'm now going to get this little bit of brush ticking underway. Look, here's my splashed up paper, here's my little dandelion clock. Okay, so I can decide approximately where it's going to go, and I'm going to paint this one oversize, and I would suggest that you do the same, because if we go actual size, now you're down into some really tight ticking painting going on. So look, do not use your pencil or graphite, because your paint will slip on that graphite which you put on there, and you'd have to put it on there fairly heavily so that you could see it anyway. So what I'm going to suggest you do is that use a little bit of your plain yellow just to give you an approximate position, and from there on we'll freehand what we're doing. And as on a demonstration, the yellow will disappear anyway, but you can still see it. Okay, right, now I'm just going to pop the little head of that dandelion in there, and in actual fact I will now need to zoom in a little bit. There's the head of the dandelion, and I know where the stem is going to come from that head, and look, I've bent it. I don't want that sort of straight stem which I've got on there. They do grow straight, obviously, because that one is, but I like to get a little bit more sort of interest in there. I've now mixed up a little bit of my Chinese white along with just a tag of yellow and a tag of red in there. And what I'm now going to do is, look, I'm just going to plonk in the approximate head. I want to go just a little bit larger, I think. I did say I would go larger. So I'm now going to allow that to dry off. In actual fact, I've come down a bit low. So all I'm going to do is, look, I'm going to lower the head. That looks about right to me now, if that was to continue on coming round. So I've just dropped on a cloudy little bit of work there, and I'll get my brush and I'll just ease some of it out. Look, I'm avoiding, even at this stage, look, I'm avoiding any white, because if I use my white I will have no opportunity for highlights, which I'm going to need later on. So here we go. I have now mixed up a little bit of my low light colour. Bearing in mind, this is going to go from dark to light. So I'm going to put in a little bit of dark. In actual fact, you can draw with this darker shade. And think of it as, it could be totally dark and we've got a dimmer switch and we're gradually, slowly turning the light up so whatever it is what we're going to paint is now going to become visible. Right, now I've got the frame out of the way because I'm going to be swinging this around. So what I've got on here now is I've got all the lighter section of my stem. And I'm just going to run that down. On top of my low light side. And I'm going to let that dry off a little bit. Now the interesting thing is, I have just noticed, and I was saying, look, go larger. In actual fact, I'm almost virtually the same size. But when you come to do yours, go up yet again. So if you need to, double it up on size until you can get the hang of what you're actually trying to do. Right, now I've now come up onto one of my little Nick brushes, and look, I've turned it all the way around so it's comfortable, and I will now start to tease that back in. Like so, and I will start to water that out. Look, it may be looking a little bit on the white side to you at the moment, but in this game you'll notice that as the white disappears, some of the colour will start to appear. So this stem on here is a little bit on the mushroom coloured side, a little bit green, it's a little bit red. So there's my stem coming in, and at the moment I'm looking at it and it's too thin. So I picked up a little bit of water and I'm just going to thicken it out just a little bit, and that's working well because it is playing in conjunction with the low light which I put on there. And look, you can see a little bit of it grinning through. That's quite nice. That is helping to add just a little bit of interest. So I need to thicken up just a little bit on the top there as well. There we go. Right, now it's not just laying there like a flat chord. Right, now I'm now going to just pop in these little tiny fold backs on the actual head there, and I'm going to go in very dark colour because I want to work my way back up from this dark colour. I need to come in a lot closer. I don't know if I'm going to get away with this. There we go. Right, now I need to come back in with this very dark colour. I think you can just about see that on the camera. I hope you can. And then what I'll do is I'll come back with the lighter green on top of that. So while I'm here, look, I'm going to nick down the stem again. All the time I'm doing this nick down the stem, I'm creating more interest in the stem rather than having like it is there, like a plain tube. Right, mine is going to be a little bit more interesting, I hope, because art can be a little bit larger than life. I've now got a little bit of green, lightest green, and I'm going to do the head of this dandelion. There we go. And once again I shall pop that, a little bit of that, into the stem. Right, now we've got this little collection of the actual seed head, the minutes here, and look, they're fairly dark, but I'm not going to paint the dark ones. What I'm going to do is, look, I'm just going to put the dark ones in as a block. There we go. Right, you can see that there, because I need them dark so that I can come back light. If I try to work the other way around, and if I put the light ones in first, then try to put the dark in behind, it's hard work, plus the fact it will always look the wrong way round, because when we're oil painting we go from dark to light, and we're going from dark to light here, and so therefore things need to be in their right order. So we always paint the dark things first, and then we put light things on top of that. I'm now just about to increase the size of this dandelion head. There we go. I'm also going to do a little bit more work on these little sections coming out here. Twist them around a little bit, make them more interesting. Now look, what I've done here is, in actual fact, I'm going to tick away and put just a little bit more green back on top of there. I'm also going to take a little bit of my mushroomy green, and I'm going to get in behind these little seed heads. Now, when I say to you that in actual fact you need to work in some sort of order, I notice here on this one that one or two of the seeds are actually missing round there. So look, I've popped just that little tiny bit in there. Make sure that they keep coming back so that they will join back in on that head, by the way. So look, all I've done is I've just broken them up, and then what I'll do is I'll come back on top of that with my darker areas. And so while I'm here, I will also nick back on my stem. Now look, everything which I was doing on here, everything I was doing on here was a little bit on the watery side. And so now, as I'm gradually coming into the more critical bits, my brush will start to get a little bit drier. I'm struggling here a little bit. Two reasons. One, my eyes are not what they used to be when I was really into my miniatures. And two, I'm trying to avoid my head getting in the way of the camera, and once my head gets down there I can't really see my monitor. So I did say that this was going to have a few problems. Look, I've just come back with just a little bit of water there. And it got away from me just a little bit there, but I'm not too worried, because don't forget I've still got my low lights to come in on the back there. Let that dry off. Right, now I'm now going to come back on this little seed head, right, and there, look, there's little indentations where the seeds left from. So here I am with my little brush now, and I'm just, no he's not, there's nothing on his brush. I'm just going to pop those in, little tiny speckles. Can't see them. Here we are. No, they're so small you can't actually see them on the camera. I'm going to have to exaggerate those a little bit. There we go, look. Then in actual fact they're not quite as big as what I'm painting them, but needs must. So there they are. I don't need too many of them. All I need is an indication. Right, now I've just been nicking away at these seeds here. Look, I'm trying not to make them so they look like nails, all one standard colour. And look, I've got a little bit of green here now, and what I'm doing is I'm just putting the green on these fold backs. I don't actually know what they're called. There we go. There is nothing worse than, there is nothing worse than having little, like standard nails, all one colour, all the way around there. So fragment them up just a little tiny bit as you go, and when you come up a little larger, I would suggest don't come up to sort of 3 or 4 times the size. Because you're going to run into that problem of the big wide open spaces, which are very bland and very boring, and you won't quite know what to do with them. So by all means come up to twice this size. I've now mixed up that sort of mushroomy colour. And what I'm going to do now is that I'm now going to sort of come off the seeds and dive off into the background here. And what I've got on there that is far too strong, because it's getting a little bit too close to my highlights. So I'm just ticking them in. Look, I'm coming back to this each time. Off of my seed heads. Oh, sorry. Off of my seed heads. And don't forget that they're not just on the front, they're over the back as well. So look, I picked up a little bit of water, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to water these in. But whereas when I put my cloud on, I just randomly went round. Now I'm watering back in, but I'm watering back in with direction. In other words, the direction of the little parachutes coming back to the base. Keep turning it round. If I don't turn it round, I know I won't get back to that spot there. And one or two of them can actually come over the top of my little curl back pieces. But once again, not too many. When you do something like this, you do something and it works. And as a result, you keep doing it. So eventually, it doesn't work anymore. So you lose the little surprises. And we put the surprises in at the end. How close can I get this without it going out of focus? Oh, there we are. Right now I'm looking at my monitor. When I look down at my piece of paper, even I can't see that. There you go. Right. Right, now I know I can get in even closer. Look, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be almost dry brushing. Sorry, I'll stop talking. Almost dry brushing. And so obviously I haven't got so much water on my brush, or if I have, look, I'm running it out until it dry brushes out. There we go. That one's a bit heavy, but it won't dry that heavy, by the way. Here we go. Right, now I can be here quite a long time, ticking away, and some bits will go right, some bits will go wrong. When they go wrong, I don't get despondent and upset, because I can come back again. There we go. I can come back again. And look, I've got a variety of lines coming around there because I don't want them the same all the way round. Right now I'm just going to tick away at that off camera. I'm back again. In actual fact, I haven't been ticking away very much. What I want to do is, look, you saw me ticking away with a little bit of colour on there. What I want to do now is, look, I'm going to tick away without any colour on there. That gives me a little bit more variety in there. Look, see that area up there? I can tick away with just water. Very, very little water. In actual fact, I'm almost running around there with a damp brush. You can see that I can do a little bit more work around this area there. Right, now I'm now going to start ticking away around the outer edge. Now look, I'm not using white, but look, it hasn't got that plain edge around it. So I've got my little brush and I'm fragmenting that edge up just a little tiny bit. In all sorts of directions, by the way. Let me go over to this darker area where you'll be able to see it a little better. And I'm just dry brushing with my tick brush to break that edge up. Now this is a game of patience, but it's very, very relaxing. And you'll find that an hour has gone by without you even realising it. Right, there we go. Let me make sure I'm in range here. And so what I'm actually doing is I'm building up a background of little tick marks. on which I can bring in my central seeds in. Oh, that was a little bit heavy, but that's not a bad thing because you can actually see what's happening. No, you can't because the water's shining on it. There we go. Let's see. Right, so they're sort of random little tick marks I'm putting on there just to get rid of that hard edge. I don't want that hard edge. I could use a bigger dry brush. That's one way of doing it. But the problem with a big dry brush is that you will tend to sort of dry brush around in one direction too much. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be having a seed coming out the side here. So I'm going to give that a little bit of backdrop on which I will paint the head of, not the head, the parachute of that seed. Look, I'm bringing it round. I've lost it. That's how sensitive this is. Alright, do it again. That disappeared in a few moments. Right, there it is. Yeah, just a little bit stronger so that you can see it. Look, and those lines, I don't know if I can zoom that in close. How close is that? Whoop, whoop. That close. Right, now look, those lines which I'm putting on here, they're not straight. They're like little eyelashes. There we go. Yes, you can see that. Just like little eyelashes, so I'm getting a straight line, even though they're that small, would in actual fact be quite monotonous and quite boring, and it wouldn't be like they are. So look, I'm building up in here with these little bits coming in, and now I'm actually starting to tick tick, dry brush. Where are we? This way round. And it's like I say, look, you can just see me doing this with my brush. And coming up to this outer edge to help break that edge up. Let me get the little, look. You can see, look, they're hairy around the outside edges. If you decide you're going to have a go at this, go to a section of my video. And just put it on freeze. Sorry, I thought I saw something. What's in there? You never know if when I pick up these little wild things, whether or not I picked up one or two little tiny creatures along with it. In fact, on a couple of my videos I've had a couple of little creatures. I had some fruit flies flying around when I did the apples. And I've collected one or two little wild flowers. On there I've got a little creature running across my finger. Okay, look, can you see me gradually building this up now? Okay, I shall come back later. Right, now I'm back. Having just looked at that last clip, I had to go and put 2 more sugars in my tea. I couldn't believe what I was actually seeing there. Now, in all fairness, yeah, I did think about doing something like that at the end of this, but nature took its own little pathway on this one and did it for me. So, really strange. It just so happened that seed was in the right place at the right time, and off it went. Time ticking away. So, talking about time ticking away, let's get back to what I'm doing here. Right now, you can see that I've been gradually building up the outside edges of this little clock. And what I don't want, I'm trying to dry brush these outer edges. So some of them I'm bringing from the outside edge in, like so. And some of them I'm taking from the inside out. But all the time I'm still staying off of the white. This is still off white, and when I'm ticking away here, I am, as I did with that one, still trying to get in little eyelash type strokes, not straight ones. So I'm swinging my brush in some sort of direction there. Now look, I don't want that so finely cut that it looks like a neatly cut lawn. So I will have to, in order to avoid that, I will overrun two of them on the outside edges, like so. Now I don't want to do 1, 2, 3 in a row, then it would look like grass, and so I'm still getting these eyelash strokes in randomly around that outside edge. Now you can see, look, I've just done that and it's made a difference. Look how short cut that is there. So I'll need to do the same here. Whoops, that was not very clever little brush stroke. I'm still a bit nervous. I don't know what's going to happen next when I'm painting this. Right. So I'm just getting a little bit more colour. Now there is, once again, logic in what I'm actually doing here, because on the outside edge you're looking through a thin layer of that parachute, and as you come to the inside here there's far more. So there's not just the ones on the front, there are the ones on the back. So it means to say here, this area here, it will be a little bit more dense. Not a lot, but a little bit more dense. And look, I'm still going in the direction of imaginary parachutes. In other words, look there, I'm coming around that way, there it is, and then I'll come back that way towards that little centre. Out from the centre again, there we go. Can you see that? Yes, you can see them there. Still a little bit short cropped around there, but look, each time I do this I break up the outside edge, but look, I'm also, each time I'm doing, I'm actually building up on the inside here. Now I need to do this, but I don't want to do it all the way round because then it will get very, very samey. So in this little area, I'm not going to overdo it. And remember, it's a little bit like whenever I did my apples and things like that. I leave that little escape area, and so I'm doing it even though it is a soft object. Right, now I'm going to carry on doing this, and then I'll come back again. Right, now look, see that it's a hard band coming round there. I'm gonna need to break that up a little bit. So I'm now starting to put in the shapes of those parachutes. And I'm not going to overdo them. All I want to do is to break that hard edge up. That's broken that edge up. Now, what I'm also going to do is, while I've got the opportunity, and bear in mind, look, I'm still on the slightly off white, is that I'm going to select one or two of these now to get in the little stems of these shoots. Now, I want them to be slightly irregular. I've got this one out here, so I'm going to put that one in. So I'm looking to the centre of that and trying to visualise roughly where it's going to be planted, so that I come in that direction like so. Okay, it's looking a little bit white. It's some of that is the actual water shining on it, and even on something like that, I've broken the line up just a little bit. I'll hold the line on one or two of them, but not all of them. Let me check the camera. Here we go. Right. Yes, you can see them. I don't want them to come in at a regular pace, looking like a fence. There that look. So once again, less is more. I'm now going to do more or less sort of head-on ones at that section there, and just here, and break that edge up a little bit. Once again, I don't want to do too many of them, because if I do too many of them, it cancels out that lovely little surprise. So when a person is viewing your work, they spot that, and their own imagination will fill in the rest. Okay, right now, while starting to build up to the highlights, look, I'm going to nick a little bit of that really dark area there, and I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to put in one or two low lights in the same way as I put the white ones in. Once again, not too many. I think this will be about enough. I think they're a little bit hard, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to soften them a little bit, and that can be useful, because even in the process of that softening, I'm still making adjustments and I'm still playing. So look, I want a little bit more here, and this is really what painting is all about. Making little adjustments here and there. When you first start off, you've got one or two lines, and they're not really necessarily relating to something, but gradually, as you get more colours and more lines in there, they have to start to relate to each other. So look, that's a bit on hard side, so look, I'm just going to pick that up and wash it out. That is what I would consider to be I'm not washing out a mistake. What I'm actually doing is I'm adjusting it, because I've now got something on which I can make yet another decision. Right, I'm going to let that dry and then pop in a couple of the full shoots there. Right, now while on the subject of adjustments, I've stopped and looked at what I've got here, and at this moment in time it got a little bit high there. In other words, it's got a little bit too round, because they are roundish, but the seed lengths are the same. So as a result of which, I get the feeling that it's a little bit top heavy. So what I'm now going to do, I'm going to make yet another adjustment, and this area around here, I find that is very heavy compared to the rest of it. So look, I've got plain water on there, and all I'm going to do is just drop plain water on and keep it moving in the direction of the seeds which I want it to go. And look, I'm managing to quieten it down a little bit. I'm also starting to extend it out a little bit more. That will give me a slightly better shape. Now look, this is all it is. It is not, it's just adjustments. It is not gremlins. Gremlins is a whole different species. This is painting adjustments as you go. So look, I've just quietened that little section down around the area there. Only a little thing, but it was bugging me. So I will extend out just a little bit more out here, I think. Okay, right, now look, I've moved that edge out. I've got a better shape in there. Okay, I could get a little bit more in there. Now, one can actually turn around and say, I'm being over fussy. Yeah, look, I don't like perfection. Well, I'm always saying that. But, so why did I bother to do that? Why did I bother to move it? Because I can, right? And so, when you come to do yours, you don't have to explain to anybody why you do something. You do it because you can. Now, in actual fact, I could have got a big brush and just blobbed some water over this area there, let it dry and start again, maybe with a slightly better shape. So, it's your painting, your time. Do what you feel comfortable with, or that which is within your skills. Now, it was more difficult for me to bring that green back in to reduce that, because I'd be disturbing the background. Even though it's blotted and everything, it would disturb it. So it was much easier for me to disturb my front layer and move out just a little bit. As you can see here, look, I took a little bit of time out and I've made some adjustments. Look, I've increased the actual section up there, and I was talking about this, so why keep talking about it? Do it. So look, I've done it. Now, when I'm talking about making adjustments, and I use the word gremlins. Now, gremlins and adjustments are two entirely different things. Gremlins are the very, very self-destructive bits of criticism which starts to destroy you. Making adjustments is the knowledge you're gaining as you're progressing through this. Now, look, I'm still looking at this area at the top there. Look, this little area where I sat down very quietly and just ticked out there, this is a bit clumsy. So look, I can still make some sort of adjustments there. Now, here's something which is, I'm going to go back to some of my earlier videos when I sat down and analysed the subject which I was about to do. The apples, grapes, etc. Now, in this particular case, even the cherries, and I said the cherries weren't round because the stone inside was not round. Now, I've got a similar sort of situation here. I didn't do my homework properly because, yes, I did one of these many years ago, but I didn't sit down and do a little sacrifice one, which I'm now suffering from a little bit. And look, the actual little head on the dandelion is not round. It is slightly oval, dome shaped, which means to say these seed lengths, I'm talking about these little between the shoot and the actual seed, are all of a similar length, which means to say that, look, if it comes out from the side there, it's got a set length. If it comes out from there, it's got that set length. And in this particular case, I'm looking at it, and these got a little bit longer in the strand length there. But look, hey ho, you know, this is learning. All right, and I'm now talking about learning. I'm just about to make another alteration here, an adjustment. I'm just going to pop in a couple of, they're still not highlights, but they're a couple of the seed stems going in at that section there. Look, I've still left that. I don't think I'm going to interfere with that at all. What I'm going to do is just quieten that down at the top, this blobby bit up here. So look, I've got fresh water on there, and I'm just going to lift a little bit of that blob out, quieten it down. There we go. Right, now I still need to work remembering the shape of the parachute. They're sort of slightly V-shaped, so I need to keep that action going without getting outside of that top area, because if I get outside it, I'm just increasing my problem again. Right, now we are now coming up to a much more critical part, and this parachute section here, let me just draw that in just so that you can see it. I think you can just about see it there. Right, now they're starting to come head on into me, and I'm now going to start to run into the daisy syndrome, the flower looking head on straight at me. So what I don't need, I'm just going to go down to the side here. I do not want a situation where I have got that flat, boring notes in exactly the same on my daisy. When I'm talking about my daisy, I need to refer you back. You need to go back to the engine room before I started fiddling around here, and I was explaining the process going on here. So even on something as small as that little parachute up there, I need to get a variety of lines rather than just sort of straight nails coming out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on, and then I'm going to put a little bit of water on there just to weaken them down, and then I'll come back with that on top of there. That way I avoid that sort of bland starfish appearance up here. So that is my thinking. I've just had a little technical hitch here. Look, I've put these little tiny wash bits in, and unfortunately I hadn't switched the camera on. Right, now look, I'm on a slightly larger brush, so no problem, I can do this again. Look, I've put one round here, I've got two up here, and the reason I've got two is because I've overlapped them. I don't want a situation where you've got like flowers which you can put a pencil line round them, because then they'll look like wallpaper, and so I need an overlap here. And look, I've put one at the top here to help break up this hard edge which I've got round there. So I'll now let that dry, and then I'll come back and tick 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 on top. Right, I've changed my mind again. Look, I've still got this open gap down there. I've got this little parachute on the outside edge. Look, if I pop this one in here, this is going to give me a chance to actually show that V shape. Once again, your eye will pick that up, and you'll begin to realise the rest are this same sort of shape. Right, I'm now going to tick away at that little parachute. Now look, just one tip, make sure you haven't got too much paint around the hilt of your brush there, because that will spread the hairs on the actual brush. And so I'm now down on pure white with just a little bit of water, and look, I'm going to stay silent while I do this, because I need to stay fully focused on what I'm trying to achieve here, and a little bit of silence will do us all a little bit of good. Apart from if you hear a gentle buzzing in the background, that's my old dog snoring, and I really don't want to wake her up. Okay, here we go. Okay, right now, look, even that, this little area there, I'm still going to water that down just a little tiny bit. There we go. And also on this one. The logic of that will become clear in a moment. I don't want any big white holes in my painting, and that at the moment represents a hole. Okay, so I'm being a little bit picky. That's the nature of me. Okay, right, let that dry. Now for the little highlights. Right, now all the way through this painting I have been leaving room for these, because at no point did I use this option up. So now I'm starting to use that little option, and I'm looking at this area there. I might just do a little one here, if I can get the angle right. And then I'm going to go back for my lowlights. There we are. They're only just visible. Right, if I want one or two back there, I will water them down just a tag, because I don't want them to jump forward too much. There they are. Another couple over here. It's getting quite lacy around this area there. Now I'm going to avoid going all the way round, because then I'll end up with like a dartboard. Right, now I'm now going to go back to hit my lowlights. Here's my lowlights coming in. I'm going to zoom that in a bit closer. And that is just one or two of those little seeds. this one needs a seed on the end of it, so there we are. Now once again, look, they're not solid. I've deliberately not made them solid because whereas I don't want white holes, I don't want black holes in there either. Right, now pick up a little bit of my green now from my outer edges and just clean this up just a little bit. There we are. And oh, I did say just a little bit. What I'm now going to do is I'm now going to add a little bit of colour into this stem. Right, now while I'm doing this, I'm going to start rounding this little demonstration video up. While I'm painting, there's no filter on my brain, and so I never quite know what I've said and what I haven't said, and what I should have said and didn't say. But look, in this particular case, look, on that last couple of clips I had a bit of a gremlin. Right, it wasn't me, it was my equipment. So look, what I want to do now is to come back and just quickly have a word with you about some of the things which I was doing here. Now look, I ran out of time, which is understandable. I'm talking about video time, and I was showing you my brush and I was saying don't allow the paint to get up onto the hilt of the brush. In reality, I didn't realise it. I was actually using the wrong size brush. So when I come back and do a little bit of ticking, and the reason I'm ticking this part here is because I want to just touch in on that stem so it looks as though it's going on the inside and not laying on the outside. And so while I'm talking, I'll just tick in a little tiny bit just over that section there. And so look, better still, keep the paint, I've got the wrong brush again. One moment. Okay, right, I'm back. This is my 000. You can get 40 by the way. And when I'm actually on the film there, I'm rushing because I know that the video time is ticking away, and when the camera's not on I can tick away very, very slowly and very, very quietly with my little tiny fine brush. That's better. Like so. Alright, now if I actually stop and look at what I've actually done here, yes, look, whenever you finish a painting you can criticise it. I can criticise this, and for example I lost the shape at the top here. Now look, that is due to my lack of attention before I actually started. I didn't want to pull all the time clocks off and examine it like I would normally do. So I've suffered a little bit on here. Now it means to say that in actual fact I could actually do this again, and I might come out with a slightly better result. Well, when I say better result, it'd be a little bit more slick and there'll be a little less chat. But then you don't get the true value of what's going on here, because every time I do a painting and every time you do a painting, doesn't matter whether or not it's successful or a reject, you have changed. So when you come to do your work on here, whatever you come up with, you will have changed. And I turned around and said, why did I do this? And the answer is because I can. So the other answer is, why didn't I bother to continue on and sort some of this problem? Because I don't have to. Right? What I'm actually doing is showing you the process, and I'm showing you not just the brushwork. It's about being kind to yourself, attitude, and stop beating yourself up all the time. When you come to do your little practice one, do it twice the size. All right. Not the size of a dinner plate, because this stuff doesn't work on really big stuff, but twice the size. Look at it, analyse it, and see where you can make some improvements. It's a little bit like if you... Here I go again. Look, if you get into an argument or dispute with somebody, you walk away and start thinking about all the things you should have said. No, you can't do that. Look, you didn't say them, so move on. Right? You've got a whole new argument going on here between you and your painting. But it's like I say, you must be kind to yourself. And the value of this is letting you into my head and recovering. A lot of my work is about recovering. So it's about recovering psychologically when things go a little bit wrong. I'm very experienced, and my experience says, give yourself a break, Barry. You're only a painter, right? And painting is about a little bit of struggle. Right, now I'm going to stop chatting on about that, and I'm going to show you a piece of my other work. And this bit of work has never been on exhibition, by the way. It just sits in a folder, so it's not until I got onto YouTube and it's got some sort of relevance. Look, you don't have to put everything into a frame and put it on a wall. In reality, you don't have to hit people with your paintings. If you've got them in a folder and you actually sit down and let somebody look through your folder, that is an absolute privilege. So consider this a privilege. You're going to see something which has not been on exhibition, but there is a reason for it, and that is because I get so fed up with these people who are so purists that they turn around and say the moment you use a little bit of body colour, it's not a watercolour. That is, in my opinion, rubbish. It's a question of, does it work? If you overdo it, yes, it kills the watercolour. But if you can play them in harmony, they're really beautiful. So talking about harmony, you may have seen some odd sort of cherries and bits and pieces. That is if you came to this video unexpectedly. So what I'm going to suggest you do, go back, look, go down to the bottom left hand corner. You'll see my face down there and my name. Press on that. That will take you to my channel, and there you'll see a demonstration of a daisy. Right? It's not so much a demonstration. It is a engine room of how to make this body colour work for you. So go down there, have a look at that, then you may understand this a little better. For those subscribers who have already seen this, I consider this to be no more than another little daisy to add on to their daisy chain of body colour painting, and there'll be one or two others. I did say there were going to be mini videos, but once I start talking, they just go on and on and on. So let me show you this body colour and watercolour working in conjunction with each other. Right, now here is another couple of my dandelion heads, and look, you can see that I'm working in conjunction with watercolours, those lovely translucent ones. they can work when they're playing in harmony, this body colour. So look, this is a little, what I consider to be a little pool of serenity here. Now, when I say serenity, look, I've got a little fairy pole dancing on a dandelion, would you believe? Right, now, I want to draw your attention to this section down the bottom here. Never mind the fairy at the moment. There we go, look. Now, there's a little bit of body colour working in conjunction with watercolours. And I will be demonstrating some of these on my next, I call it mini video. There's no such thing as a mini video when it comes to me. Alright, so meanwhile, look, relax, enjoy, have fun, be kind to yourself, don't beat yourself up, and enjoy the act of painting. Bye folks. Okay folks, look, as you were, I had in actual fact thought I had completed this video, but it did not pass my watchdog. That is my lady wife, who sits down and views all my videos before I upload them because of some of the silly things I may tend to say. Right, now, she felt very disappointed and was prepared to give it a thumbs down as soon as I uploaded it, because having sat there for a whole hour watching me talk and painting around this area around here, and she couldn't understand why I spent so much time around there, saying what I can do and what I can't do, she sees it as you can't be bothered. It's not true, but nevertheless she felt that she had been cheated because she was expecting to see the whole dandelion head. So compromise here. I will now find ways and means of completing this, because when talking about thumbs down, this is quite funny, my daughter, when I was talking to her a little while back, she turned around and said, look Dad, don't give me a hard time here, because I'll get on my computer and I'll give all your videos a thumbs down. Now, a thought has crossed my mind. I know I'm a rebel artist, but I'm not quite as rebellious as I used to be in my youth. It crossed my mind that they could actually join forces, and all of a sudden I could go to my channel and find a little cluster of thumbs down. So I'm not going to take any chances on this. I'm not going to upset. Look, who needs gremlins when you've got girls like mine around the house? I will solve this. Right, now I'm just dropping on my cloudy little shoots here, overlap some of them. Do you find a couple of them? Right, now I will let that dry, come back and work on top of them. Look, they will dry much lighter than what they're actually appearing on the camera. Nice and cloudy. Right, now, although I'm actually head on, I must be a little bit cautious about where I'm going to place these little parachutes. So, look, talking about the daisies again, I don't really want them head on as such. They won't be head on, because as they go around the corner, they'll turn at an angle and down that way, over the top and round that side. So the one thing which I do know from my observation is that I won't have one in front of another one when it comes to being on top there. So they actually grow up against each other. So look, I'm not going dead center, I'm going off center so that I can work there. So I'm just going to pop these in to give me a guideline of where I think they ought to go. Now once again, look, I'm still off of the highlight white. Now as they go round the corner, I'll actually see less of them. So that's my thinking, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I've popped that white on there, clean that back. There we go. Earlier on I was saying about that getting up round the actual ferrule there. It's much better if you can keep the paint on the tip of your brush. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work off of these and just tick my way out. There we go. Working from the centre, ticking my way out very slowly. Like so. Now it is a game of patience, but patience I have got. I mean, say when we talk about patience, we're talking about patience with watercolours. With something like oils, you might have to wait 2 days. So here, we only wait a matter of minutes, if that. Now, I'm going to zoom that in very close just so you can actually see it. There it is. And I will keep turning it around. Where am I? It's on this one. I will turn this around, working from the centre. Look, little tiny fine lines. Look, I did say right from the word go, this is a tick tick job. And I'm getting away with these white lines, because of the cloudiness underneath. The variety is within the cloudy sides. There we go. What have we got? There we go. Right, now that is what I'm going to be doing. So now I've explained that, I will speed the process up, because you know what I'm doing. Right, now what I'm going to do now is I've cleaned my brush, and I'm just going to dampen out some of these little hairs with plain water, so they come out just a little bit softer. And I'm going to be doing that all the way around as well now. Okay, right, now what I'm now going to do is I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'm going to put in my little highlight spots in the centres of those. Look, you may have noticed, look, I have made a slight alteration to the top here to give my the overall shape back in there. Okay, so hopefully this one will get the thumbs up, clear to go sign. Okay, right, now here we go, final touches, the little tiny highlight spots, which I need to put back because I was washing them out. Look, I'm more or less getting that straight from the tube here, by the way, but be just a little bit careful because it can get a little bit blobby. So just check it out before you go down. Right, okay, now I think that's going to pass my watchdog. Look, I still didn't do everything. Look, I still left that little escape area round there. Why? Because I'm a rebel. No, it's just to stop everything getting too samey. Okay folks, I think this is now ready to go. So look, relax, enjoy, and look, after all is said and done, look, all we're doing is working on a bit of old scrap paper. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Don't beat yourself up. Don't let the gremlins get you.